Alright guys, welcome back to Region Unlocked. This time, what we're going to do is, we're going to do a new video series. Want to take it away?
Aye, we're going to start doing videos about like how accessible games are, like which are in like different languages, and if you need like to be able to like read the language to be able to understand it, and like to see which game, as I said, which ones you can play without it.
Yeah. Pretty much the basis of it is, if you want to buy an import game that's in a different language and you don't know whether or not you will be able to play the game without having to learn the language, this is where you're going to find out.
And the first game we're going to do for the Sega Saturn is Parodius Deluxe. I think it's a deluxe pack.
Aye.
And how accessible that's going to be. How we're going to do this is gameplay, accessibility, and then price range, how you can find it, and how much it's going to cost, really.
Pretty much, yeah. So, of course, the first thing we wanted to talk about, as he's mentioned, is the gameplay. Now, I already had Parodius on the PlayStation 1 ages ago, so I still have vague memories of it, which is good enough. But of course, as you can see, we do have Parodius here, so we will be putting up some gameplay so you can see exactly what it looks like. And it's one of those coming to the term of cute 'em up instead of a shoot 'em up because of the cute graphics and also the kind of gameplay that you get from it.
It's a very wacky game as well.
Oh, it is
really.
Some of the characters you get is you get like a little blue man on a paper airplane.
I forgot about that. I love that character.
He was always my favourite as well.
You also get, is it the Twin Bee plane? Like
Yeah.
the spaceship?
You get to play as one of the Twinbies, and you also get to play as I think one of the Gradius ships as well.
I think it's both of them.
Yeah, it's either that or Darius, but I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think it's Gradius.
Yeah,
I can't really remember. It's been a long time since I played Gradius.
I'm sure you can play as a penguin as well.
Yeah, Blue Penguin.
Yeah, which, in all honesty, that's the kind of thing you expect with shoot 'em ups. Like, I mean, they're not meant to be like. I wouldn't really say shoot 'em ups are realistic at the best of times, but that is definitely far from what you would expect in realism in any shape.
It do not take them seriously at all. Is basically the situation. Like,
I wouldn't.
It's not like you're playing like a Ikaruga or something.
Yeah, exactly. And the good thing is, it's definitely, I would say, a beginner's route into shoot 'em ups. If you are,
I never know. Like this one's some of them can be quite hard. Like,
really,
yeah. It's I'm just shit at shooters. Like,
nah.
I reckon it's me being shit at shooters. Like,
I would, me personally, I would say Parodius is quite easy, especially when you got the likes of fucking Doronpachi and stuff like that.
yeah, it's a very good way of getting into the shoot 'em up series.
Exactly.
Style game instead of series. Really.
Pretty much. The next thing, obviously, what we wanted to do is talk about how accessible the game is for those who don't understand Japanese, if you would prefer to get the import, which we'll get to that in a minute.
The only real issue I've came up with the text is the main menu, but that's just to swap it into, go into the options and switch between the two games. I think it's the original one on the NES.
Huh?
I think so.
Wow.
But I think it's the arcade port.
Oh, right. Well, I've never actually played the deluxe pack version. I do want to get it, but of course that will come in due time.
Because it's Parodius done again. How would you pronounce that?
Gokujo. I would imagine that's how it's pronounced just by what it says in there, but I could be completely wrong on that.
I think that's the two games that are in it.
Well, the good thing is, I mean, there are some parts of the game that does actually have Japanese text through the gameplay, but as we discussed before the video started, which was like a speech bubble, you actually have that as an attack.
You don't need to know what it says, like, so it kills things. That's all you need to know.
Kill it with speech bubbles.
Some bosses may say something after you've killed it or just before, and that's the only real thing. But I wouldn't really say it's an issue at all.
Yeah.
To understanding what the hell is going on.
And if you did want to know what the story is, you could literally just look it up. You know, I mean, there's plenty.
Someone would have gone out there and translated all the things.
Yeah, I mean, there are some games out there which I was talking to a friend on YouTube with one of the Tycho games for the 3DS. Somebody actually has the story mode picture by picture with translation underneath. It happens, people do it. So, you know, it is going to be easy, and that's going to be like that for the most part with any game. But of course, you know, if you just want to play it without having to keep going through that situation, you want to know how accessible it is. For one, Parodius is definitely one of the more easily accessible games out there.
I would say pretty much any shooter is, really.
Yeah, pretty
Unless
much.
it's something like which is ridiculously text heavy, but it isn't very common within like the shooter scene. Like
Exactly, shooters are pretty much exactly what they are, shooters.
They tell the story by just showing you what's going on. Like unless I think it's Ikaruga has like a proper storyline at the beginning, isn't it?
All right, I've never played Ikaruga yet. Like, I know things like, I think it's Espergaluda has like story sections in between. It does have a lot of text, but
It doesn't
it's in English.
Is it?
Yeah, so it's kind of like,
I remember you were showing me like.
yeah. So it
Which
just
was
seems pointless. So
I was quite surprised by that.
same, especially since it never came out over here. But that's for another different video.
Arcade scene, man. It's
yeah.
just it's just a straight up port, isn't it?
Pretty much. So yeah, and obviously the third and final thing we want to talk about is price.
Now this is quite a cheap game to get if you want the Eastern version. But if you want to get like the Western version, it can cost from anywhere from about, as we've seen, about 30
Yeah.
to like 40-50 pounds.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much that'll be in dollars like.
Well, the thing is, we did a bit of a checkup on eBay, which is obviously on the sold listing section, so we can make a better idea of how much the game has sold. And some of the NTSCJ versions of this Parodius game have actually sold
For about 20.
yeah, up to 20 to 30, but you're more likely to get it cheaper on the NTSCJ version than you are on the PAL version. And as we've said, the accessibility is there. You've got no worry about fucking picking up the game and like having worries of not being able to understand what you're doing, because it's like, as we've said before, it's a shooter. Really, it's pretty much it. So
Yeah, well, most shooters cost a fortune, though, don't they?
alright, that's a problem. That's where the issue comes into it. The games are easily accessible, but the price isn't. If you don't really want to spend that much on a game that could probably take 10 minutes to finish.
The thing is with shooters, a lot of people say certain ones are rare when they're not. They're just expensive as fuck.
Yeah, and that's what I think makes it like somewhat rare, because people aren't willing to pay that price, so it's left there and nobody really has it in their collection because of that reason.
My personal advice I'll give to people: unless you like shooters a hell of a lot, don't bother collecting them.
Yeah, because it's just going to be a waste of your money. Because same with like platformers and fighters, usually because they are so easily accessible on most languages, they go for somewhat of a high price. And of course, if games are region free, that also helps. So
yeah, well, you know what people like for collecting certain style games. For example, you and me in shooters, you've got quite a lot now.
Aye, right. In such a short space of time, which is,
well, it's always a good thing.
Yeah, get it over and done with while I can. So yeah, that's pretty much been the first video. We're going to be doing this for a lot of games, but I think we're going to be working through some of the Sega Saturn stuff that we've got so far, because that's one of the systems we really have a bit of passion for at the moment. So,
oh yes, Sega just does my thing like.
Oh, two rights. So yeah, that's been the first video for this. We'll figure out what the title is going to be for it afterwards. But for the meantime, we've been Region Unlocked, and I hope you've enjoyed.
And I'll see you later.
Aye.
I think that went well.
That was spot on.